Sage Wonder coming at you from my van down by the river. Corey Feldman. I'm afraid he's a dead man walking. I'm afraid that he's dead and doesn't really know it yet. So this is kind of old news, this story I'm going to relate to you. But if I missed it, there's a good chance you missed it too. Now, if you've been following the Corey Feldman story, you know that Corey Feldman claims that his friend Corey Hames, that all of his dysfunction and all of his addiction that led eventually to his death was caused really from the emotional trauma of being a victim of pedophilia in Hollywood. And Corey Feldman has been quoted on numerous occasions as saying that the biggest problem Hollywood has is pedophilia, and that he was about to name names of some of the of Hollywood's most powerful brokers of talent, and point the finger at them and uncover a pedophilia ring. And so Corey Feldman did name some names. He did talk to law enforcement. Unfortunately, his information is so old, no prosecutions will probably ever come about. But some of these people's reputations have definitely been stained by the accusation. And he's declared that he's making a movie, a documentary, that will... He even got a GoFundMe page and tried to raise, and did raise a lot of money for the budget of this big budget documentary film he's making about the pedophilia ring in Hollywood. And about 3 weeks ago, he was traveling on the highway when with one security guard. I guess Corey was doing the driving, and the security officer, a large bald man, was in the passenger seat riding along, when two Hispanic men in another vehicle started driving erratically, moving people out of their way to get closer and jockeying for position to get closer to Corey Feldman. Now, if you want to hear Corey tell the story firsthand, it's a TMZ. This is why I missed it. I never watched TMZ. This was a TMZ interview that he did on the street, telling the blow-by-blow story of what happened. And at any rate, you can probably find him telling this story himself, but you can hear me tell it for him at this point. But apparently these two men, Hispanic men, more or less kept following him till he left the freeway, and they got behind him at a red light. And the passenger of that car got out and approached the passenger side of the vehicle and distracted the security guard, the security officer, by challenging him and threatening him and yelling at him. And while that was going on, the driver went past Corey Feldman's car, whipped a U-ey, so the driver door was driver door to driver door on these two cars. And he jumps out, and he goes to open Corey Feldman's door, and Corey Feldman says, "My door was locked. I don't know how he got the door open." Corey Feldman says the guy pulls on the door once and then pulls again harder. He says, "I don't know what he did, but the door came open." Did he just jerk a locked car door open? What about OnStar? Have you ever been on the phone with OnStar and went, "Can you and they'll be like, "We're unlocking your car now." Click, and your car unlocks because you locked your keys in the car or you've lost your keys. Do these people who did this to Corey, who orchestrated this attack, did they have the power to unlock car doors using OnStar? Did the man who was assaulting Corey Feldman have some magical magnetic unlocking door device that maybe the deep state have access to? Nonetheless, this locked car door comes open on the second attempt when this man goes to get his hands on Corey Feldman. Security guy, I'm sorry, I'd have fired him. That's part of his job, is have eyes in the back of his head. I wouldn't have fallen for that. I wouldn't have fallen for the banana in the tailpipe. That's what I call that when you get flanked from behind. That's a banana in the tailpipe. You know, they distracted him with one guy while a second guy flanked him and got to the person he was supposed to be protecting. Thank you for playing. You're fired. You're like Trump. You're fired. But anyway, this guy pulls Corey Feldman's car door open. And then instead of shooting him, then instead of kidnapping him, then instead of stabbing him to death, he pokes him one time. Now, Corey Feldman says he doesn't know what device poked him, whether it was a needle or an ice pick or a knife blade, but he was poked one time. They poisoned him. They poisoned him. They gave him something. They injected something into him. And anyway, this guy pokes him one time, and then they both retreat back to the car, back in their car, gone, leaving Corey Feldman and security guard going, what the heck just happened? Now, Corey Feldman says he's been tested. They can't find anything. It's not like they gave him HIV or something. He's been through the ringer. They don't have any evidence of what it is they gave him or what was maybe poison. Was it a message? Did he just touch him with the knife to let him know we can kill you if we want? Your security can't stop us? And what's the purpose of that? Or was this a deep state, pedo ring sponsored MS13 poisoning? Is he going to drop dead? And Corey Feldman did say that he spoke with some poison experts, and they said that some poisons can remain dormant in your system for up to 5 months, and then just one day you get sick and die. This kind of assassination happens routinely in Spy versus Spy, and that using a radioactive isotope is one way. There's other slow-acting poisons, poisons that lay dormant until they're triggered by something or time, and next thing you know, you just get sick and die. Is that what's going to happen to Corey Feldman? Honestly, he thinks it is. He thinks he is a dead man walking, and he's working feverishly to try to finish as much of his documentary as possible because he believes that's why they've killed him. That's right, it looks like Corey Feldman may have been killed and not even know it. Why would someone do this to him? Why would they attack him? The only reason is to stop him from making the movie. However, the movie is already underway, and to quote Corey Feldman, the most important parts in the naming have already been done on film, so it's out there, and they can't stop me. But he intends to finish his documentary within 5 months, in case, in fact, he's been poisoned. God help us all.